Wake up, go to work, get to bed, repeat. Wake, work, bed, repeat. Looking for something new? Glassdoor uses the online marketplace to bring transparency to your job hunt. Now, its top spots are up for the taking.
Normally, we only talk to publicly traded companies on the show. But if you want to understand the future of a given industry, you need to get the perspective of some of the smaller, more innovative startups that are still private. Take Glassdoor, a recruiting marketplace that brings together employers and job seekers on one easy-to-use platform. And Glassdoor doesn't just help you find a job. They're trying to transform the very way people search for employment, because the company also collects data from their users, data on salaries and job satisfaction that can give you a better sense of what's reasonable. That's helped this company become the fastest-growing job site in the United States. More than 30 million users, and they've started using their immense treasure trove of data to better understand the state of the labor market, because both here and around the world. Today, the site released its annual Employees' Choice Awards, including a list of the 50 best places to work in the U.S. based on over 2 million anonymous employee reviews. So let's dig deeper with Robert Homan. He's the co-founder and CEO of Glassdoor. Learn more about his company and what it's doing. Mr. Homan, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you,
Have a seat.
Jim.
Now, if you got 2 million respondents, then we're not talking about some sort of anecdotal. We are talking about science. So give me what the science says about who's hidden.
Yeah, so the news this year that was a bit of a shock to all of us was that Bain took the top spot again. This is the third time that Bain has won Glassdoor's Best Places to Work. Yeah, Bain & Company, the consulting company. They've made the list all 9 years. There's only 3 companies that have made the list all 9 years: Bain, Apple, and Google. The other 2 are household names.
Right.
And so it's a pretty amazing thing that Bain has been able to pull this off. They do it because they hire amazing people. If you read the reviews, you'll see they hire amazing people. And what they tell you is they get to work on the hardest problems that companies face. And when they're done, they get to go on to the next fun, hard problem, and the next one after that, and the next one after that. So it's just kind of this kind of constant high of getting to work on like really hard business problems.
A lot of time I was on a panel yesterday leading where one of the participants was saying, listen, if you can have an impact at your job, not just being put on a project, but an impact.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised at Google, there could be Alphabet, there could be a million. You could work there for years and not have an impact, but somehow it still works.
Well, so Google and Facebook are a little unique in that I think for engineers and product people, the idea that your work could actually be used by 1 billion plus people around the planet. There's only a couple companies in the world where you can go and do that. Like I call that's the equivalent of fame for an engineer if your work gets into that many hands, and that's why that's special.
Okay, we had Gary Kelly on earlier in the show, Southwest Air, which I've always said is the best run airline, and it's best run airline because of the people. I've always felt that as anecdotal. What is the science behind that?
Okay, so it's interesting. We actually have an effect. I saw Gary backstage, and I said, look, we have an effect named after you. It's called the Southwest effect. And here's what it is. We've known, and the science has known for a long time, that there is a correlation between employee satisfaction and financial performance of a company. Okay, so that actually isn't that much new.
Right.
What is new in the last year or so is the science is finally saying that there is a causal relationship. We've been able to tease out the causality. Satisfied employees create financial wealth and create financial value in a corporation. They aren't satisfied because the company's doing well. They actually create the financial.
All right, let's take it a step further on this. Number 1 of your fantastic deck: do companies with satisfied employees outperform the stock market?
They do, yes. So we have taken Glassdoor's Best Places to Work for the last 9 years. We've built portfolios a bunch of different ways. They're on Glassdoor.com/research. You can build your own portfolios and try. Every single way we've built them, they beat the S&P 500 in the last 9 years.
And again, therefore, it's causal, not correlation.
Yeah, well, to prove the causal link, the science has gone much, much deeper to tease it out.
Right.
But it's there.
Are there some companies that can turn around, companies that come on strong that were bad before?
We see movement on and off the list all the time.
But not that much, right? It's hard to change a culture.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a deeply seated bedrock thing. But there are companies that, and it takes years. It takes years, and it takes an iconic leader.
Right.
It usually takes really crisp, clear communication about what we're trying to become. It frequently takes a unifying mission and vision, a mountain that we have to climb, that you can rally behind.
All right, I got out of school in the 80s, and I looked at jobs, and what I looked at was how much I'd make. And I picked the one that I could make the most at.
Okay.
And I did that because everybody else was doing it because that's all that mattered. And that was the key to happiness. It looks like the money does not...
How'd that work out?
I don't know. Well, that's an existential question. We'll take about.
You look happy, though.
We'll have a cocktail later on. We'll discuss that because
right.
I don't know if you asked my wife, she would say, listen, that's not this job. That was my old job. That was at Goldman Sachs. Thank you, Regina Gilgan, my executive producer. But it is apparently that we have a lot of younger people who watch the show. Money does not buy happiness.
No. So here's an interesting thing. A lot of leaders and CEOs will say that satisfaction comes from pay and compensation. The insidious thing about that argument is there's some truth to it. There is a positive correlation between satisfaction and pay, but it's a very weak correlation. And so you have to increase people's pay a lot to increase their satisfaction.
But how about if I make them important? Somebody who's not a cog, but someone who can make an impact.
Exactly.
How good is that?
Exactly. So the most important ways to drive satisfaction are culture and mission. So it's aligning purpose with my life with the work that I'm doing every day in your company.
Okay, so one last question. Can a company that's, say, a consumer packaged good company, a manufacturing company, can they have mission?
Yeah, it's amazing. So Clorox made the list this year. Famous consumer brand.
Man. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, famous consumer brand has made the list, now being celebrated for a workplace. In-N-Out has been on the list for 4 years. In-N-Out Burger. This is a, on your feet all day, hard job.
You're right.
And yet people love working there, and they talk about the investment that the company makes in them, about the happiness and the kind of sense of mission. They're making people happy.
Look, and we'll ask Clorox when they come on. I know Mr. Doerr's done a fantastic job at that company. That's Albert Homan. He's Glassdoor co-founder and CEO. I find this stuff to be incredibly compelling because it helps me. It's part of the pastiche of picking winning companies. But it's also important to find out where you really should be working. Stay with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.